up, y'all? We are here at 9:44 p.m. on a Friday night party time. It's after dark with Shaun ranking the mouse. Say what's up, Shaun?
What is up, Wizard? It's so good to be on Wizard After Dark. We're patenting a new series. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's so good to be here, man.
New
Love watching all your
series.
videos, and I love being on your videos even more. So I'm excited for a fun night.
Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. All right, so Mr. Shaun over here. Hello, Kevin. Just went to Florida and did a whole bunch of cool stuff. But even Tiana's in, he wanted to come on and talk about all about it and give a scene by scene breakdown on what he saw with his very own eyes. Shaun, take us through it.
Scene by scene. I think you need Drew Disney Dude for that one. I'm not sure I can go scene by scene.
Okay.
Oh man, yeah, it was an amazing time. I got back. It was about a week before opening, so I got back a couple weeks ago. But yeah, man, it's an amazing time. Honestly, I'm so pumped for this ride to come to Disneyland. I know, obviously, you and I are both West Coasters, and I always thought that Disneyland's Splash Mountain was worse than Disney World Splash Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it seems like we're getting a lot of signs that the Imagineers are building Splash around Disneyland's more so than Disney World's. So hopefully that kind of evens them out. And yeah, but honestly, man, the Disney World version is absolutely incredible. I can't wait for you to ride it next year. I can't wait for it to come to Disneyland. And yeah, it's just an amazing ride.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw some of those latest photos there. The Tiana's food sign was put up here at Disneyland, and it looks much different than the Tiana's food sign at Disney World. So exciting to already see some differences between the two.
Yep, exactly. And I don't like direct clones, so I'm all for differences, even if it's little differences. I just like to spot, new little stuff. So I really hope it's not a direct clone. That was kind of nice about Splash Mountain originally, is they weren't direct clones. Obviously, they had the same storyline and stuff, but there was different scenes and stuff like that. And ours, Disneyland's, was the truncated, like shorter version. But with the single boats, it was always a little different in different scenes. So hopefully they change it up a little bit. I understand if they don't, but I really hope they do. And honestly, yeah, it's just nice to have a water ride back in the park. Magic Kingdom really needs more water rides. Walt Disney World needs more water rides. So it's really good to have Splash Mountain back as, basically a better ride, in my opinion. Obviously, I understand nostalgia and people are really tied to Splash Mountain. And I'm not here to argue nostalgia. Nostalgia is a very important feeling, and it's why so many people love Disney theme parks. But also, in 10 years from now, every single kid that grows up riding this ride will then have nostalgia for Splash. Or, I'm sorry, nostalgia for Tiana's and not Splash. And I'm all here for it. I think overall, if you take nostalgia out of it, Tiana's is a way better ride, way better story, way better pacing. The storytelling itself is a little clunky, especially the first couple ride-throughs. But we were lucky enough to ride it 5 times. We basically had a walk on our whole night. We were during the D23 preview.
Oh, that's nice.
We could have ridden it. The max, there was people there that rid it like 11 times. So we probably could have gotten like 9 or 10 in. But honestly, we were in Magic Kingdom and we were like, let's go do other stuff. So we went and saw Happily Ever After and rode Big Thunder before it goes down for its big refurb, rode Seven Dwarfs. So we got 5 rides in. And I would say probably by about the 4th ride is when I finally understood the story. The first ride through, I was super confused, and I was like, guys, I'm going to be honest. I love this ride, but the story makes no sense. Then the second time through, I started picking up on more, and I was like, okay, the story's clunky, but I get what they're going for. Then the third ride through, I was like, okay, I get the story now. There's a couple scenes that I don't understand, but I get it. By the time you've ridden it 4 or 5 times, now, honestly, that kind of sucks, right? Because not everyone can ride this ride 4 or 5 times. So for those that are only coming down once every couple years, and they're stuck with virtual queue, and they can only ride it once on their trip, yeah, it's going to be a clunky storyline, and that sucks. But I think for locals or for like repeat visitors to Disney, I think that the storyline won't be an issue long term. By like the 4th ride through, especially when you can take in the queue. I've never in my life seen a queue more important to the story of a ride than it is here. But the queue basically explains everything, but you have to really be paying attention. So if you're like with a big group of people, or you're just like you have a walk on, it's going to be hard to get the storyline down because the queue is really important. But once you get the queue details in, the whole story makes sense. So that's a roundabout way of saying the story is clunky, but only like the first 2 ride throughs. Once you've ridden it 3 or 4 times, the story makes perfect sense.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good to know. And also, yeah, you're right about the queue. I mean, from what I've seen, some of there's a lot of stuff in there, like a lot of storytelling devices, a lot of newspaper articles. There's that truck and there's the food. So I feel like you definitely have to like actually look at things in there to realize, get an idea of what's happening. No,
right, which is kind of a bummer. I'm a huge queue guy. I mean, there's rides where I like the queue more than the ride itself, and so even saying that, it's kind of frustrating when your queue has to tell the whole story because so many people either don't speak English or, aren't going to pay attention in the queue or just want to ride the ride or don't care about, picking up clues in the queue. So it is a bummer that they couldn't have put a couple of the more storytelling devices on the ride itself. And that's coming from a huge queue guy. So I don't love that decision, but for anyone that's annoyed by the story, yeah, that's a funny comment you just read.
Yeah,
Right.
it is.
Colorado
You're right,
families,
Marty.
yeah, they can only come once a year. It sucks. But for the locals like us or the super fans like us that can go a lot, the story will make complete sense. So it should have been better, but it's not as bad as I thought based on reviews, if that makes sense. But the storyline is definitely the clunkiest part of the ride. But in terms of like visuals and like aesthetics and like music, I mean, the song from PJ Morton at the end is like mind-blowingly amazing. It will be the new like Disney hit in 5 years, just as like Zippity Doo-Dah is now. So the music's incredible. I do 100% agree with the criticism about Dr. Facilier. I totally get why they didn't add him in. But literally, if you gave me like one change to make the ride perfect, that would be my change, would be adding Dr. Facilier in the lift hill. Because not only is there no tension, or not only is there no villain, but there's really just no tension. And the lift hill is probably my most disappointing part of the ride during the day. At night, the lift hill is absolutely incredible. But during the day, it's kind of like Incredicoaster. Like the tubes during Incredicoaster are awesome.
At night,
but
it's much better.
Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And it's kind of similar to the Tiana lift hill. So that's a bummer. So I would have preferred them go the Facilier route. But other than Facilier and too many story points in the queue rather than the ride, those are really my only complaints. Like everything else about the ride is incredible. I know it's been breaking down a bunch, but I can only speak from experience. We rode 5 times and not one broken effect, not one slowdown, not one stoppage, not one breakdown. Obviously, most people don't have that experience, and I'm not trying to say they do. But I feel like if you can ride this ride at night, it's having way less breakdowns. And obviously, hopefully over time, there's less breakdowns. So if you can get a ride without the breakdown and you can pay attention to the queue and you can ignore no Facilier, obviously those are 3 big ifs. But besides those 3 complaints, the ride's perfect. I mean, I have no other complaints. There's so many cool effects, so many lovable characters. The animatronics are freaking gorgeous. There really isn't any dead space. I don't really understand the critiques about dead space. Maybe the lift hill during the day has some dead space, but that's kind of all. I mean, I rode it 5 times and don't ever remember thinking, "Oh, what's going on in this room?" So yeah, I just think they did a great job. I think it's, yeah, I already talked about the music, but the music is freaking amazing. Like everyone should download the playlist and listen to it. It's addicting as hell. But yeah, man, that's basically my main thoughts. It's not perfect. It's got some weaknesses. My first ride through, I think my score was like 8.2, 8.3. So like above average, but not amazing. And by my 5th ride through, I was like a 9.1. So like, I mean, my top 3 favorite ride in Magic Kingdom, probably top 2 and potentially number 1. I don't think it'll be that high at Disneyland because Disneyland has so many bangers. But it was definitely in Magic Kingdom. It's absolutely a top 3 ride in the park. And I don't think I couldn't really argue anyone on that. I think that's pretty solidified there at top 3.
Oh, wow. That's pretty good. And see, my next question you answered kind of, but as you can say, I'm glad you're able to successfully ride because I know they're doing the test and adjust. So I know there's not some evacuations, and now Florida just in general in the summer a lot of lightning. So that can't help lightning, right? So I'm glad you. So it just seems like though for your time period, your after hour T20 event, it seemed to be running smoothly and seemed to be no weather related problems. So
Yep. And our event was 5:30 p.m. to like I think the last ride stopped at 10 p.m. So and we had no breakdowns at all. And the ride was running earlier in the day. There was a lot of CMs Imagineers riding earlier in the day. But from what I've been following and just based on my event and other stuff, it seems like the ride is way more reliable at night. And that could be one of two things. It could be weather related, especially in Florida, with, like you said, Ethan, with everything going on. But what I think, and there's some been rumors going around on this, and I think it's probably true. And Ethan, you and I have talked about this. There's been rumors that the sensors,
Is that like humidity?
yeah, you're right. Marty's right on it. Yeah, that's exactly what we've been
That makes
hearing.
sense.
So what I've been hearing and what a lot of people have been talking about is the Tiana on the very first lift hill.
Lift hill, yeah.
It's not an enclosed space. It's like a half enclosed space. And so what I've been hearing is that sensor's been getting tripped like crazy. And every time that sensor gets tripped, the ride shuts down. That's obviously probably not the only issue. I'm sure there's, 4 or 5 issues they're working out. But I think, and what we've been hearing is that's the main one. And it makes sense because during the day, the light is shining right at that Tiana. I mean, on our first ride at like 5:15 p.m., 5:30 p.m., we could barely even see her because it was so bright. But then by like 7 p.m., she was completely shaded. So hopefully they can rectify that issue at Disneyland or find a way to rectify it at Magic Kingdom. It does seem like there are less breakdowns already. I mean, the ride's been open for about a week now, and we have been seeing breakdowns about once a day, but nowhere near what we were seeing, the first couple of weeks where it was like AP previews, like 6 hours of downtime during the morning.
Yeah. And I feel so if the humidity is the issue, I feel like at Disneyland we already have a decent head start because I mean it's not like bone dry, but it's far less humid than Florida.
Yeah.
So I feel like just like and that alone, our humidity should be our ride should be probably hopefully more reliable. And I feel
plus we get way more lightning. We get way less lightning, and thunderstorms in Disney World. So that's keeping it up. And on top of that, we have 3 more months to like fix whatever's going wrong than they had.
Yeah, that too. And also ours will open up in the fall and anyway, which will be like low humidity, not even summertime.
Right. Yeah.
But I also feel like, and I'm not sure because I've been to Magic Kingdom one time, but I feel like because you mentioned the sun thing, I feel like ours is kind of shade, like not totally shaded, but I feel like there's not a point where the sun can blare into that barn here in Disney because I feel like it's the Rivers America, so many trees. Am I wrong with that? Like, is Critter Country more shaded than the Frontierland over in Magic Kingdom?
Yeah, I don't really have like a scientific answer. I mean, you could be wrong, but from what you're saying, I think you're right. I don't think I noticed one way or the other, but trying to think about your point, I think you're probably right
because I'm trying to visualize it. It just seems like there's the Haunted Mansion. There's so many trees.
Yeah. Magic Kingdom's super like open and spread out, and especially like their Frontierland is just super open because they have the bigger walkways and everything. So yeah, you could be right. I don't know for sure, but that sounds right to me.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like that will also help. So I do feel like again, Disneyland does have advantage of this time of opening later, because to fix so they can learn from Disney World's problems, and I feel like we have better weather. So hopefully, I think it should run pretty well, and I'm excited for it. Some like you guys, I guess not you guys, but we, they are closing the formerly Slip and Falls location, the first drop, so we'll have a new scene-ish there. So I feel like, and I've seen this like online, and I feel like I have to agree. I feel like this land ride was designed for Disneyland, right? Because New Orleans Square is right there, and then they just kind of try to shoehorn it into Disney World and try to make it fit as best as possible. So I think Disneyland actually, the tables may have turned. Maybe Disney don't have the better Tiana, whereas Splash Mountain was better at Disney World. It should be kind of cool.
Yeah, I hope you're right because their Splash was way better for a couple reasons. One, it was longer, so there was more story to tell. And that might work against Tiana's because there isn't really that much story to tell. So I don't know, I could be wrong, but maybe that works in our favor. But the other reason why I really love theirs better and ours probably won't be fixed is because I love getting wet on rides, but I hate getting my socks and shoes drenched.
Let me tell you,
spray me in the face like all day long, like splashes in the face or on the chest, whatever, that is like glorious and awesome. But when you just pour waves over the boat and it just drenches my socks, that's like horrible. And Disneyland's does that. They just send waves over the boat. Magic Kingdom's is the opposite. They just like spray you a bunch. Every now and then you can get it like over your lap if you have a heavy boat, but Like me and King Dakar were sitting up front. We had a heavy boat and got it. But even then, it was still just my lap. It wasn't my socks never got touched. So that's the biggest bummer at Disneyland, and they're probably not going to get fixed. But whatever. That's it is what it is.
Yeah, for that one, I'm not. I feel like definitely the boat, and since our boat's a little somewhat narrow, I feel like that definitely makes it worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me tell you something. That happens about 7 out of 10 times. On that the indoor drop.
Yeah, it's not the final drop. Yeah, it's the indoor one. Yeah,
wrecked, and then it sucks because it's not. It's indoors, so I'm kind of cold at that time.
Yeah, and then you can't enjoy the last.
So then I'm like, shivering, and I'm like, come on.
Yeah, I agree with you, dude, and it sucks because, and then you hear half the boat being like, "Why the hell did we go on this again?" Obviously, like half joking, but yeah, dude, Marty's right. It's going to be amazing for kids, man. Obviously, the drop's freaky. There's no getting around that. But if your kid is not like super afraid of drops, there's nothing on the ride that's like freaky. Whereas even Splash Mountain, like without the drop, your kid could get pretty like stressed out by that, right? But Tiana's is
some of
perfect
those
in that
old
regard.
animatronics for definitely creepy.
Yeah.
I'm excited though for the animatronics, right? So again, finally, at least Disneyland. I know Disney World, they get a lot of new stuff, so they have like some newer animatronics. But I feel like it was really special when Disneyland get some new animatronics because Disneyland's an old park. We don't really get too many new things, especially animatronic wise. So I'm super excited for these animatronics. How was it to see like Luis up in person? Because I know he's massive.
Yeah, dude, Luis is absolutely the best animatronic on there, and there's a lot of him on there. There's like, God, I want to say like 6 or 7, maybe even more, like representations of him, but not all of them are animatronic. So there's like one static figure. There's another. I don't want to like give away any like, whatever. But there's like a statue of him per se, made out of different material that's really cool. But then you have the indoor animatronic, bro. It is absolutely mind blowing. It makes you wonder how they could make something so fluid that's so massive. But like all of his like fur or whatever, it's not fur, but whatever it is, like looks so incredible and moves so fluidly. Yeah, the Luis animatronics are absolutely amazing. Definitely the best part. I want to say there's 3, maybe 4 Tiana animatronics, and all of them are great except there is one. It's probably the last one or the second to last one that's a little rough, and that is the same one of the photos that surface where you can like kind of see her wrist a little bit. Like when her sleeve goes down.
Oh yeah, the little robot.
Yeah, we noticed it a little bit too. Nothing to where like if I was a normal guest, I'd be like, ugh. Yeah. But just as a super fan who saw that photo, I was kind of looking out for it, and you can kind of see it. So that's not great. That was probably the worst animatronic on the ride, just in terms of like not very fluid and taking you out of it. And there are a couple times where Tiana just kind of like stares blankly at someone. Without like anything.
I did notice that. It's almost like just like she seems to be like waiting for the next log to come
kind
right,
of,
to like activate. Yeah.
But
see, that's the type of thing
that's
the type of thing I think will be fixed at Disneyland because, like you said, it's shorter and there's not like I know like at Disney World there's that particular section where it's kind of like there's a big gap and she's sitting on the log or something, I think, and she's kind of waiting for you. And there's that gap. I feel like stuff like that will be totally fixed at Disneyland because there's not those big gaps. So hopefully that'll be good there.
But when you look at, all these A1000 or higher animatronics, or really any pretty advanced animatronic, name one that doesn't have issues. I mean, you have the Shaman of Songs, which is probably my favorite animatronic in the world. She's only up like 1/3 of the, or probably more than that, like 2/3 of the time, but she's down a bunch. You have like the Kylo animatronic who's down a bunch. You have like any of the old animatronics who just, they go down a lot and need refurb. So in terms of like super advanced animatronics, I mean, these are next level. You look at like the Frozen Ever After animatronics, great animatronics, but there's so many issues with the faces. So honestly, or like, Radiator Springs Racers, half the time, like Lightning McQueen's mouth just isn't moving, So I wasn't expecting animatronics. In our 5 ride-throughs, Luis was generally perfect, like genuinely like an amazing animatronic. Tiana was like 80% there. I just went foggy. There we go. Tiana was about 80% there. Not 100% there, but still super impressive. And then, there's a bunch of other figures. There's some really, really, again, I don't want to give up secrets, but there's some really cool static figures that do a little bit more than just be static. Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's some cool hidden effects in there that you pass by and you're like, oh, that's really creative. So they they found ways to fit in more than just the animatronics. There could have been a couple more effects. I would have loved one more on the lift hill. Like I said earlier, that was like the one part I was most disappointed by was the lift hill. But other than that, I really have no complaints. The finale is absolutely incredible. You still have the really scenic outdoor parts. So yeah, that's, I mean, overall, just an amazing ride.
Yeah, the finale looks really good. In fact, I think the finale looks way better than the Zippity Doodah finale in terms of the set, because it seems like the animatronic's much closer to you, and there's like a lot more going on, and it's taller. It's like you're really like in there instead of like watching the boat. You're like in the town in New Orleans, which is pretty cool.
I got the finale kind of gave me a Secret Life of Pets vibe, but mixed with like a bunch of animatronics, like way better than Slop. And what I mean by that is Slop does really good job in making you feel like you're like at a party or like there's a lot going on, and there's like they integrate screens really well to make it where it feels like more deep than it is, like more depth than it is, but you feel like just energetic. Like Slop is really good at just making everything feel like it's lifelike and a party vibe. And the finale scene does that, but it also has like amazing animatronics everywhere. Drew, I think Drew pointed this out on your channel, and I do agree with it. There could have been one or two more on the right side of the
you did say that.
Direct, and you have to the left is 10 out of 10 perfect, and to the right is mostly just screens. So that's a bummer, but honestly, I'm complaining about like a 9.9 out of 10 scene. You know, in general, it's absolutely incredible.
So you mentioned screens. I know there's a few screens throughout the ride. What are your thoughts on using they're integrated well? I know there's some cool projection mapping fireflies, and I know there's specifically one scene where Tiana appears CGI and Lewis, and people are like, should that have been like Little Mermaid style 2D animation for that portion? What are your takes on that?
Yeah, I'm not a huge animation guy, so I can't speak to like what's the better medium. But as far as on the ride, it was borderline seamless. The first time through, it was a little jarring, but mostly because the scene that's being portrayed, like, I mean, I guess it's not a spoiler, but we're small at this point, right? We're the size of frogs, and her and Lewis are gigantic. So that was really the only jarring point where it was like, whoa, that's, you know, a gigantic character, and I've never really seen a gigantic character on screen before. But other than that, like once you get adjusted to it, it's seamless. I heard complaints about the screens and then also the screen going up the lift hill, but they were both perfect to me. I really had no issues with them. The scene where Tiana's huge, I don't think could have been an animatronic. That's a really small screen, and they needed to portray her huge, so that was perfect. I could have used an animatronic on the lift hill where there's a screen, but I understand why they didn't do that as well, and I think the screen's mostly fine as well there. So I really have no issues with any of the screens. My only issue would be they should have added one more animatronic to the right side on the finale. That's it. All the other screens were pretty flawless in my opinion.
Nice. Now let's take a moment to gush about Mondo. How cute is he in real life?
Mondo is our boy. Yeah, I love Mondo. I am personally the biggest fan of Larry the Armadillo. Larry's my guy.
I know.
But I totally understand Mondo love, and he deserves it too.
I'm so glad they finally explained the whole backstory of Larry, because he appears like 4 or 5 times in the attraction. Like, why is this guy so important?
He was kind of why so important. I kind of liked it more without the backstory because I loved his mysteriousness.
He just randomly appears.
Like, prominent role, and like you said, Ethan, he just kind of pops up in random spots. So I kind of like the mysteriousness of it. But any Larry love is great. Larry's my boy. Larry's my guy. Larry's my dude. But obviously Lewis and Mondo are the stars for sure. This is kind of off topic a little bit, but my other complaint for sure, and my whole party agreed with this. Absolutely, there should have been more Naveen. He was like,
I'm curious about that.
Yeah, he was the one character besides Facilier that did not get enough love. He really only has the one animatronic, and his little brother kind of steals this show more than he does at the end playing the drums. So even just one more Naveen sighting would have been great. Obviously, Tiana gets all the love. Lewis gets all the love. All the critters get all the love. The fireflies get definitely enough love. The frogs get enough love. What's the dad's name? Not
Big Daddy.
Big Daddy.
Yeah.
He gets enough love, maybe a little bit more, but you know, he's not really a huge character, so he's fine. And Tiana's best friend, I'm sorry, I'm butchering this movie.
Charlotte.
Charlotte, thank you. She gets absolutely enough love. So yeah, it was really just Naveen and Facilier, obviously, but Naveen that I was most disappointed by. Oh, and Mama Odie gets definitely enough love too.
Oh yeah.
So Naveen, man, I'm bummed by that. I don't know how it would have worked story wise, but they should have thrown him in one more time. That's another complaint for
Yeah,
sure.
see, it's interesting because I don't know if you remember that concept art that showed Naveen and Tiana in the boat there.
Oh yeah, yeah. The
And it was
pre-concept
in
art.
yeah, and it was in and that particular concept art was one of the rare piece of concept art with Disneyland's vlog style. So I'm still curious of maybe we get an additional scene, that one with Naveen, and maybe Disney World doesn't. That'd be pretty cool. Because I do agree, he appears and I correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like he appears in the back, doesn't he? In the party scene, kind of like not in the forefront. But
Yeah,
like
kind of. He's in front of the screen, but he's not the main animatronic
Yeah,
there.
so
There's a Tiana and a Charlotte animatronic, and then his brother, and then all the frogs. Those are all more, and the critters. Those are more. Those take your attention more than Naveen does. So you really have to be looking for Naveen. In fact, I heard someone say, "Oh, there's no Naveen in the ride," and there is, and he is an impressive animatronic, but he doesn't grab your attention really at all. So you have to be on the lookout.
So were they pumping the beignet smells in line when you were there?
They were, but I only noticed it because I was insanely looking out for it, and I have a very strong sense of smell. My wife and the other two people in my party didn't smell a thing. So they were for sure, but it was very faint. And I heard Drew Disney Dude say a similar thing. I think he might have even smelled it more than me on a different going later, like a week later. So they were pumping it, but yeah, not enough. And I haven't been since it's open to the public. So hopefully they start pumping it more, because what a easy sense that they can add to just add depth to the attraction. Like a huge bonus to Incredicoaster is that cookie smell at the top. It's a little thing
that smells good.
so much just depth to that attraction. So yeah, that would have been nice if they could have added that. It made it stronger. You can smell it in the queue. I never once smelled it on the ride. I don't know if it's supposed to be smelled on the ride or not. I didn't smell it on the ride at all, and just a little bit in the queue.
Yeah, but they should definitely pump it in like in the party scene, or definitely the Mama Odie scene when she's eating the beignets. That'd be nice. So here, reminder, go get some beignets on your way out.
Right, and the beignets are sitting right there in front of you, and they're selling beignets. So yeah, it's a strange decision, and there's nothing else going on in that room. I don't know the logistics behind or the operations behind, smellitizers and how easy or not they are. And we're seeing a Magic Kingdom with the pyramid scheme, the MLM, that maybe it's harder than we thought.
Oh yeah, the smell
with the smell-o-fence
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe logistically it's super hard, and I'm just overlooking that, but that would have been a great touch. They should have added that for sure.
And were they doing the radio show in the queue when they were there?
Yeah.
Did that?
Yeah. So, but the problem is most of it is played outside the queue, because Magic Kingdoms has a really long extended outdoor queue, like through the gardens and stuff. And the gardens weren't great. Honestly, they kind of looked like Splash Mountain gardens. It didn't look like they had changed too much. But we were barely out there. We were walk on the whole night, so we were only there on our first lineup. But yeah, they were playing it outside, but we were never outside. So it might have been on a little bit inside, but there's so much going on inside that you're not really listening to the radio once you get in there. So on long days, when the line's like 45 minutes outside, I think the radio will be a great touch for people. But if you're on a walk-on, or like I'd say anything less than maybe a 20-minute wait, you're not really going to hear the radio.
Interesting. Yeah, because I guess it makes sense, because kind of extended queue thing. Now, so now it's open, right? You have two virtual queues in the park. We have this and Tron. Now Disney said this will be on a virtual queue for a limited time, which is good, because Splash Mountain, that ride seems pretty much eats a lot of people, so it probably doesn't really need a virtual queue for too long. But I was just curious. I'm looking, and I see virtual queue for Tron is still open late in the day. Do you think though? I mean, I hope you would think that you agree they should take it off by now, but do you think it will be coming off soon, or like they're just gonna keep it on there forever?
Yeah, so I'm on a podcast called Diz Happenings with my buddy Matt. You guys can follow him on Twitter, Matt.
Go follow.
Yeah, really good podcast, and he started it, so I'm giving him the credit. I'm just his co-host. But we have a thing called Before After, where like a couple months out we'll pick a date for something, and someone will pick the before date and the other pick the after date. So we did like Haunted Mansion opening, blah blah blah. So we have one for Tiana's, and I have the after on July I think 9th or maybe even 8th. So like a couple days from now, and I have the after. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to win that. He has the before July 9th, and I have the after. So judging by what I said on that podcast, I would probably go with July Man, probably July 19th-ish, 20th-ish, about 2 weeks from now. I think that they wanted it off maybe by Monday with the 4th of July crowds gone, even though there weren't many July 4th crowds. But I think that with how many downtime, how much downtime it's having, that I think they're going to wait a couple weeks. But Disney's been pretty clear, right, that they don't want this on virtual queue long. CMs have been saying the same thing. So I don't think it'll be there by like Labor Day, but maybe if downtime stays pretty bad, it could still be there another month or so, but it won't be long term. Although, honestly, Ethan, if you'd have told me in July of 2024 that Cosmic Rewind still has a VQ, I would have told you you're the stupidest person on earth. So what do I know at this point, man? Disney might pull one over on us.
So Cosmic, that's interesting because when I checked that one seems to pretty quickly still sell out. At least it would be selling out for a bit. And from what I understand, you've been on it, but from what I've understand, it seems like that queue in general is pretty short, correct? Or when he comes back, I'll answer. Anyone in the chat, Cosmic Rewind's queue seems a bit short. So I guess it makes sense that it would be going on a virtual queue still, because the actual queue space is pretty short, is that right? For
the indoor queue space is, honestly, there's only probably like 2 main indoor like queue locations. Like the rest is just hallways, and then you get to the main like mine shaft. So like Disneyland's mine shaft, well, I'm saying mine shaft, Salt's mine, because that's what theirs is, but Disney, whatever Splash Mountain was, ours was super skinny, right? And then you round that corner and board. Theirs is a little bit more wide, but before you get to that like wide walkway, there really is only like 2 main showrooms, maybe 3, maybe 2.5 because of TNT shaft. So there's not that much show space there, but they fit a lot in. Like they're absolutely gorgeous rooms when you get there. And I want to say that Disneyland Splash doesn't have that much indoor space, although it's been a year and a half since I've ridden it, so I might be wrong. But I'm hoping that we don't get shorted on queue. I'm a little worried.
Yeah, because queue is very important, very, very important.
Hey, as a queue guy, I agree with that.
And I hope on this podcast you go rank your queues. In fact, we'll do it right now. Rank your top 5 queues anywhere, any theme park, anywhere. Do it.
Okay, that's a tough one, man. You put me on the spot, but I'll give you. I'm gonna give you no order just to get them out there, and then I'll order them from then on because I like to be a completionist. So the 5 best queues any park.
Have a good night, Marty.
All right, Marty. Take care, man. Thanks for the shout out for my wife's coffee. Marty's awesome. Make sure you follow him on Twitter. I think his @'s just Marty Snyder, so should be easy to find. He's got some great Disneyland West Coast content.
Go get some of Mrs. Ranking's coffee, everyone. It's actually
Barrio Coffee on Twitter. So top 5 queues. So absolutely on there is going to be Expedition Everest. That queue, and I'm including the facade and queue as well. I mean, that just like makes that whole area of the whole park, right? Like just absolutely incredible. So that's number 1. Probably have to include Flight of Passage. I understand people don't like the pre-show, but that whole scene with the bioluminescence and then the outdoor scene and then the insane animatronic when he works, even when he doesn't work, he's still insane. So Flight of Passage got to be up there. I think for objectivity's sake, I probably have to include Indiana Jones Adventure. I don't think it's that amazing, but that's mostly just because I've ridden it so many times. And I wish that they loaded people in there rather than outside. But objectively, that's
I know. Yeah, I wish they always stop people right at the before the bridge, and you just kind of breeze
it's a bummer, dude.
And it's bad for 2 reasons. 1, because when it's hot outside, you're just sitting out there. You could be inside, and then 2, you're missing all the cool theming. But
Yep, 100% agreed. Number 4 is probably going to have to be Forbidden Journey. As you know, Ethan, I can't really ride that anymore because I have anxiety about getting stuck upside down, and that ride has too much downtime for me. But
really
that
does.
queue, I mean, absolutely insane. The queue, is an attraction on its own. I mean, I do the queue, and then I'll just go sit in the family room and hold people's bags, and that is. I mean, that's like full enjoyment for me too. Number 1, because Universal does the family rooms, the child swap rooms so well. They always have the movie of the ride playing, and it's like themed well. And number 2, I mean, the queue is literally the castle itself. Like I wish it was even longer and you got more time in there. It's just incredible. So that's number 4. And then number 5 is probably Storybook Land canal boats. I mean, just the immersion of going back and forth between chain link and chain link and chain link and chain link. It's just amazing. I'm just in that line thinking I love chain link switchbacks. So Storybook Land canal boats are the best. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
I'm just
I
kidding,
do. That queue is pretty cool. Seemingly because the Matterhorn's there, and you can listen to
fair. Okay,
the
fair.
bobsleds go. I do
So you're
like
saying
that.
the Peter Pan queue's worse? Okay, I got you.
The
No, I'm
Peter
just
Pan
kidding on
queue,
that. Number 5 is
Peter Pan
number.
queue is pretty annoying. I don't like that one.
Yeah, agreed. The last one is probably a tie between Toy Story Mania at Hollywood Studios, not DCA,
Mhm.
or I really, really like Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run queue, but unfortunately,
That's a
the
good one.
operations of that ride just make me never want to go through it. And I don't think it's more realistic and impressive, but I
Mhm.
think the whimsy of Toy Story Mania probably wins out. So yeah, really, kind of the common denominator here is most of the best queues are at Orlando, Universal Orlando,
Yeah.
or Disney World. Although Disneyland has Indiana Jones up there, and our Haunted Mansion queue is pretty solid, but that's kind of the
I'm
extent. And
surprised
there's
you didn't.
really no great queues at DCA. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout is a good queue when you start, but the boiler room just gets brutal, and you're really only in the like nice room, the really cool room, for like a minute or two. So yeah, Soarin' queue sucks. Radiator Springs queue is fine, but it's not amazing. I do like how it immerses you, but there's not much to look at.
That's true. Yeah, I just like for that one for Radiator Springs. I like how it's like you said, it's in the middle. So even though there's not much to look at, I just love hearing all the cars going around me, looking at the front. But yeah, definitely not much
if
to
you
look
can
at.
only
But
wait in it
definitely
like 20 minutes, it's great. But right, there's not much.
Yeah. Oh, and Credicoaster queue is come on, let's call it what it is. That's a Six Flags level queue.
It is. It was even worse with Screamin' too. Screamin' queue was like freaking.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I can't
that
think of it
was
lower than Six Flags, but Screamin' was Six Flags, and Incredicoaster is like bottom tier Cedar Fair.
yeah.
Or New World
Agreed.
SeaWorld. New Age SeaWorld.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Yeah.
ooh,
And honestly, dude,
that
hot
was
take,
rough.
Soarin' queue, absolutely atrocious. The best part of the queue, they rush you through it.
Honestly,
First room,
I
and then they put
agree.
you in that horrible, crappy second room with nothing to look at, nothing on the walls, no cell service. You're just staring at like the other wall or someone else. Soarin' queue sucks.
And yeah, that's another one, like you said, where most you're waiting outside, and then you're inside, you're at the ride, and then but because it's just theaters, that the operations are that's very slow. Like a 45 minutes there is much different than the 45 minutes anywhere else, because you're just sitting there. It's like, why am I
Yeah, and they
here?
have no exterior,
Or
no
like
good exterior.
just for like an okay like when you've gone it so many times, it goes from like ooh to like just okay, and it's not like the greatest. No. And yeah, that's why I don't think I've actually waited in that queue in like years. Now that I think about it, like I actually, because I just can't fathom it. That's crazy.
There's really no way around it though. Like even if you have a lightning lane, they still make you wait there. And so yeah. I don't want to complain about Soarin' more, but it really speaks to a like division or like a separation between current era Disney, between Imagineers and like operations. Like clearly the Imagineers are building these things, and then ops are just not, they're not on the same page. So that's a new world Disney problem, and I really hope they get it fixed, because you have these amazing queues and you're just basically rushing right through them. Like giving like shout out to like Universal, like Hagrid's. I don't really love that queue, but you're never in the same spot for too long. Maybe the only time you are is that last room when the bikes are over you. But the rest of the queue, you're never in the line for that long. Same with like River Adventure, or same with Velocicoaster. So I wish that Disney would just they build incredible queues, but they don't. The ops are so bad that you don't get to fully enjoy them.
Yeah, and I'm surprised. Okay, so for the queues, I'm surprised that they Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah, it's a good queue, but I don't know. Just when you're always waiting in it for an hour, and there's really no like wow moment.
True.
Like every room is above average, but the only wow moment is that waterfall. And I firmly, strongly believe that waterfall should be like in a public walkway, because it's the only water feature in Galaxy's Edge. So I Rise of Resistance queue is not bad. In fact, I enjoy it, but I don't think it's like top 5 or top 10 worthy.
And the Pets queue?
The Pets queue's up there for sure. The Pets queue's up there. And if we were doing dark rides, I think Pets queue would be like top 5. It's so small scale that it doesn't come to mind doing rankings, and it is pretty short. And it can honestly, if it's a long wait,
It is pretty sore.
screw that queue. But if it's a walkthrough, it's elite. So yeah, Secret Life of Pets queue is
Yeah,
great.
let me tell you, if it's a long wait, yeah, I have a certain segment. If the wait's anywhere downstairs, I turn around and go out. But
That's totally fair because
because
waiting on those stairs really sucks. I don't
yeah,
know what Universal loves making guests go up and down stairs so much.
for real. They do it in
Dude,
Forbidden Journey. They do it
yeah,
in Transformers. They
yep,
do it in Jurassic World's actually that's a pretty flat one, and Studio Tours are
yeah,
pretty well. You have to go down the escalator to get to Studio Tours. So that's still kind of
yeah. But the worst
Uh,
one of all, dude, and you'll experience this in about 4 months, 5 months, is Gringotts at Islands or Universal Studios Florida. That queue is insane with stairs. You really have to go up like 3 flights, and you're just standing on them half the time. It's crazy.
Oh wow, that's
And Secret Life of Pets has a couple stairs too.
yes, Pets has the stairs.
Yeah.
Mario Kart has the stairs. Oh, and especially if you're
I
on
do like
maybe
their
wrong.
queue though. I forgot to give them a shout out. I really like Mario Kart queue.
Oh yeah, nice queue. It's just a lot of stairs, especially if you're on that right side. At the end, you have to go up the stairs, go over the track, to go down the stairs to exit.
I know.
Oh, that can be brutal sometimes,
Yeah.
especially waiting so long in the queue. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Let's see. The queues. That makes sense. Florida does have the better queues because heat. They have to make it a lot of indoor stuff. But
yeah,
I
and
hope,
also these
with
parks are all
Disney
newer.
World-
When Walt was building Disneyland in '55, I mean queues weren't even a thing, right? Like none of his queues are
Exactly,
big.
yeah.
So, and even DCA like has better queues. I don't think they really had the space or the time. And even DCA, was 20 plus years ago. So
Yeah, so I'm excited for new rides and new queues because
amen.
now the story now starts when you step in
Yes.
the marquee.
And Ethan, let's talk about that. I need to know what the latest rumors are on a very important queue that is coming soon, because I am all for the biggest and baddest roller coasters, especially when they're not just like 300 feet tall for no reason. So I'm all for crazy roller coasters that are family friendly. And I'm okay if there's no theming on board or limited theming. But what I need you to do, or what I need a theme park to do, is to throw me into that theme before I hop on this crazy roller coaster. So what is the latest on this Fast and Furious queue? Because this might be the most important queue Universal's ever built.
Oh, well, let's see. The latest is you'll likely be walking into that garage you see on the studio tour. It'll be like that, and you'll walk into the garage. I don't think it'll be that great, but that's what looks like. You'll be walking, and then you'll be walking to an extended queue outdoors behind the pizza place. That little platform where they use the extra first. So that's the
It's
extended
not
queue.
great, Ethan.
And then it looks like you'll be into a warehouse with some lockers. Some stuff and some stairs. Yeah, because
I don't absolutely hate the warehouse idea, because as much as it's the worst attraction ever built, Fast and Furious Supercharged, they do have a really impressive queue. But they also had a crap ton of land to work with that Universal Hollywood's not going to. So obviously, I don't think we're going to get any of the crazy cars or stuff like that. Even if it's just a stupid garage, they better make that an immersive as hell garage or warehouse. Like, I hope
so. I'm very worried.
No coaster with a no theme queue. I don't want that.
Yeah, I'm very worried. I'm hoping, because it is a smaller space, and they have to put there's gonna be some restrooms in there, some lockers, cast member break rooms, and child switch stuff in there, at least on the bottom floor. So I'm hoping maybe they'll put some screens or something to help sell something. I do think there'll be the Fast Furious cars. I think they'll be the outside.
Okay, I'll take that. That's solid.
But yeah, other than that, sure, you can actually let me show you, because you can kind of see the warehouse shape of this building right here.
Yeah. While you bring that up, I'll point out how Universal Hollywood really doesn't have a bad queue in the park. I mean, Transformers, average ride, amazing queue. Mario Kart,
yeah, the queue is pretty cool.
Mario Kart, yeah, exactly. Mario Kart above average ride, incredible queue. Jurassic World. Jurassic World's not in a great queue, but they make it pretty solid for what it is. Mummy, awesome queue. So there really isn't maybe Flight of Hippogriff is the worst cube, but even that's pretty solid because you got Hagrid's hut.
Yeah, Hagrid's hut. You have a lot of greenery. You have a lot of noises. I still wish for Jurassic World they would have taken the time to enclose the structure like an indoor cube, because they demolished everything else. I'm like, oh come on, but then they didn't.
But for the outdoor cube that they have, they did a great job. I mean, great acting.
Yeah, I do like the little fun facts, the dinosaur fun facts. Those are pretty cool.
Yep.
Now, it's very hard to see, but I can zoom in. Nice. So here,
wow,
warehouse structure right there.
Holy crap! Okay, Ethan, this is concept art, right?
Yeah, this is the official concept art on the committee website here.
Okay, I've seen this sort of really zoomed out. This looks awesome, dude.
Yeah, it's not like terrible, but it's not like super cool. But it's not like there'll be some nice little brick garage here. There's the maintenance bays, and then of course the launchers. So it'll be themed to Fast and Furious, and there's some of the vehicles rotating right there on the inversion.
Yeah, I love it.
But so it look pretty. Actually, now zooming in, it's actually looking a little bigger than I thought. Actually.
Yeah, I like it, and I like the 2-story idea. Do you think that the warehouse facade that they're going with will be easily blended in to whatever they choose for a replacement for Simpsons? Because I'm worried that the warehouse is just going to be a tiny, tiny mini land. But do you think that there's a way, depending on what they choose to replace Simpsons, that this could kind of fit in with the thematic story a bit, or at least not detract from it?
I'm trying to think, because this depends what you place Simpsons with. Like if they made it like an action movie land, then it would work, or a racing land. But what a racing property? I don't know. I really
don't know. I feel like the leading candidates is like, Dark Universe, or like, I don't even know, man. To be honest, I haven't really heard any concrete rumors other than back in the day we heard Wizarding World, but I think that's dead. And I feel like Dark Universe is probably not coming unless it's a massive hit at Epic.
And boy, again, I still hope for Dark Universe, because oh my god, can you imagine a warehouse and then the lovely Dark Universe castle over here? That would look so jarring.
Yeah, that's true. That's what I'm saying. Is there a way to like theme it? I just don't know how. I guess Universal Hollywood already has like a lot of mismatch, right? Like even the lower lot is just kind of mismatched IPs, and I'm okay with that. But I want everything to at least be what Jurassic World is, where it's not just an immersive ride. They have the mini land where they have the restaurant and the bar and like the meet and greet. Whereas like Mummy, like I love Mummy, but it's not even a mini land. It's just a themed ride. So that's just not enough for me. Same with Transformers. I need at least a mini land.
Yeah. See, and I'm hoping to see if the Dark Universe comes here, a version of it. I feel like I hope it would go down there, where all those sound stages are. They're supposed to be demolished. But I would say put it there, but then take the time to use that project money to significantly enhance the Mummy, because Mummy's a classic monster, so you can retheme the whole show building there. The original concept of the ride was supposed to go indoor outdoor. You can extend the track, you can do a full refurbishment and have it inside Dark Universe. That way you don't have to get rid of the Mummy. You can still have the family friendly coaster and make it even better, and it fits because it's the Mummy. It's literally a monster.
I love your idea. I don't think the indoor outdoor thing would ever come, as much as I would freaking love that. But I don't think that that's out of the realm of possibility that could come. I think they'd have to get rid of Transformers or redo that. Then they would have to redo that little like ice cream stand there. But really, that's not that much. I mean, that's doable. Then they need to get rid of Panda, bro. Panda, get Panda out of the park. I know I'm gonna piss off some locals to Hollywood. I love Panda Express. It does not belong in a themed environment.
You can't piss off those locals because there's literally a Panda Express in City Walk, so they have nothing to get upset about.
See, there you go. Go eat it in City Walk.
Yeah, unfortunately, the place has got a beautiful renovation, so I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. But god dang it! But I still think, an indoor drop tower could be a nice spot for the Simpsons, because it's off the cliff.
Yeah, and you can't build much else there for sure.
Yeah, and but yeah, I don't know. It's and it's coming up rapidly. You only have a few more years left before it has to close. So I something,
Yep, I
uh,
agree.
man. But yeah, that's a interesting stuff. And Disneyland Forward actually is another interesting stuff. Yeah, are you going to D23?
I am. I will be at D23. Yeah, I have tickets for all 3 days, so I'm pretty excited.
Wow, I'll be live streaming the parks panel, so maybe we'll see you in the crowd. But are
In
you
the
excited? How
ginormous
come?
20,000 person stadium.
That's right. We'll see you. You got to wear that white hat, so we'll recognize. How pumped are you for the experience? Are you ready for some big announcements? I think they're gonna bring it this year.
Ethan, I was ready for big announcements 2 years ago, and I got my heart pulled out. So yes, I am, and I know that it's all different now because of the approval from the city of Anaheim and because of the RCID change. But until it happens, I'm not giving Disney the BOTD. So between you and me,
Smart.
absolutely, I'm pumped, absolutely. But publicly, to all the viewers here watching and to Twitter and stuff, I'm tempering my expectations.
Uh, so what? Okay, so if you could pick one thing for Disneyland and Disney World, one thing for each that you're like, oh my gosh, this has to be announced or my on my your wish list. Just one thing that Mr. Josh, Daddy Josh, is like, oh, can announce. What would it be for each coast?
Well, Disney World has to be the return of Primeval Whirl. If they don't announce that, I probably will never go to Florida ever again.
It's on its way. They filed
I'm just
permits.
kidding. I know. I would say Disney World's got to be a Dino Land replacement because that land is just in such dire need, and Animal Kingdom is so close to perfection. It just needs more rides, and I feel like this land could be what makes Animal Kingdom truly perfect. So yeah, Dino Land, whatever it is, I honestly don't really care. I'm wanting Moana, but I would be okay if they go another route. But that would be, as long as it's not Zootopia, but that would be my number one where they have to announce. And at Disneyland, I would probably have to say, Avengers E-Ticket because DCA just needs rides so bad. It needs E-Ticket rides so bad. So yeah, either Pandora, one of the two, either like a confirmed for sure it's coming and here's when for Pandora, or it's coming and here's when for E-Ticket. Like we can't just get a rumor about them or a hint or a tease. We need like an opening date or an opening time frame. Like, hey, Avengers E-Ticket, summer 2025. Whatever. That's probably too soon, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? January 20. We need something concrete for one of those two. That's probably my number one because I don't think Disneyland needs anything. And a hotel is really badly needed, but I don't think it's like number one on the list. Like that can wait a couple more years. So that's probably my two. Yeah. What about you, Ethan? What are your two?
I'm gonna go with the Avengers E-Ticket only because I've been waiting for this since 2017 when it was teased when Guardians of the Galaxy. But you know how long? That's almost 10 years ago.
It is almost 10 years.
And Disney gets me every time. I'm like, okay, they're gonna do this here, and then they disappoint me. And I don't know why. It's fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So it's my fault. But I believe this time something. I don't want to say I don't care what it is. I do care because when you've been waiting for so long for something, it can't really suck. So it really has to you have to spend the money on it. So I hope we get that. Disney World, let's see, a fifth park. No, just kidding. They don't need that. Please. For Disney World, actually, I don't care what it is. As long as they don't, I'll give Dinoland an exception. But they have so much land. So whatever they announce after Dinoland, I just hope it doesn't replace anything. I hope it's just like a true expansion. Like takes all this open land. These parks are tiny, the half day or the smaller ones. As Hollywood Studios is like this big, like you have all this space, like expand the park like you did, like they did. So I just hope they get that. Like I'll be hey, because they're so busy replacing things. I'm like, why?
I agree with you 100% on replacing, and I agree with you that Animal Kingdom needs an expansion, but I think Hollywood Studios needs it more because not only is that park tiny, but the layout is absolutely ass, and there's no aesthetic.
I
There's
know, it's
nowhere
kind
to,
of
like,
weird.
walk and chill. Like, Animal Kingdom needs more rides, but at least everything else is fleshed out besides the rides. Like, the aesthetics are fleshed out, the theming's fleshed out, like the walking trails, all of that is fleshed out. Hollywood Studios has nothing fleshed out but e-ticket rides and good entertainment. The layout is ass. The filler rides are ass. The like aesthetics of the land are ass. The food is ass. So Hollywood Studios needs way more work, in my opinion. But I understand that Hollywood Studios gets more crowds than Animal Kingdom, so I could see Disney going that route. They really need an expansion to Pandora. I know they have a plot they're sitting on. They need to announce that, and then they need to announce something coming to the Rafiki's Planet Watch. If Animal Kingdom can do those two things and then redo Dino Land, perfect park, in my opinion.
Yeah, because I mean, look, if you can, if you're not like if you don't need to get on, if you don't go to theme parks just for the ride, then you can spend like a nice whole day at Animal Kingdom just exploring. You know, the animal trails. You can even just sitting on that beautiful bridge. You can watch the trains of Expedition Everest go up and just enjoy the river there. You know, very atmospheric. I mean, you can just literally sit there and like work. So, Hollywood Studios, you definitely can't do that because there's just it's not really pretty to look at, and there's a lot going on. But
the layout sucks. It's actually really funny because Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom, in a way, are exact opposite parks. The one thing that Hollywood Studios excels in is like e-ticket banger after banger. And that's like the only thing that Animal Kingdom kind of struggles in, that is that it needs a couple more rides. But Animal Kingdom has an amazing layout, a bunch of like space that's not theme park space, but like safari space and stuff like that. Amazing like themed hotels that connect it. Amazing food. Hollywood Studios has a horrible layout, no greenery, no hotels, themed to it. So they're kind of the opposite in a way, and they both need work, but I think Hollywood Studios needs way more work.
Yeah, but let's hope something is officially concrete announced for one of them with dates, a start date or an end date or a season or a start season or something. Because if you get any more blue sky, then I might just throw my laptop at the wall. So.
Amen. Thank gosh Disneyland closed the Blue Sky Cellar, because it's been up blue sky for a couple years. And honestly, what they can't announce is a fifth park. They're not going to, but they can't. At all four parks,
that'd be
so much work. Magic Kingdom needs Beyond Big Thunder and the Moana ride in Adventureland really badly, and it needs a couple other ride refurbs. Epcot needs to finish their shit immediately and get more stuff in there. Animal Kingdom needs more e-tickets. Hollywood Studios needs a better layout and more filler rides, and it needs a damn boat ride finally. So yeah, all four parks they need more work. So no fifth park. I know it's not coming, but I'm just finalizing it for the universe. No fifth gate, at least for 8 years minimum.
And an easy win, I'm sure, an easy D23 win would not even be anything really new, but if they just announced that both water parks will be open at the same time, I feel like a lot of people are very happy.
Come on, Ethan, you're preaching right now.
That's something they can literally do, like the day of D23, like starting Monday, Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Wits open at the same time.
Yep, I'd go crazy.
Like, man, but we will see. Because that's just in a month or so away. Oh boy, it's coming up quickly. But thank you, Shaun, for joining on this lovely nighttime chat on the Wizard Den chat. Go follow Shaun, Mr. Ranking the Mouse, on where?
Yeah, I'm Ranking the Mouse everywhere. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Those are basically my main three. I'm not on TikTok. I'm sorry, everybody. But yeah, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Ranking the Mouse. You guys can follow me there. Please follow my buddy Wizard on everything. This guy makes amazing content. He's about to hit 5K subs. I've seen this man grow from the start. Obviously, become a member. You can join me being a member of the channel. Really good content on there. And yeah, also follow Diz Happenings. That's my podcast with Matt. Follow Wizards podcast, so Wizards Den. And yeah, hit us both up on Twitter. We'll debate you guys and have some good, nice debates on Twitter over there.
Heck yeah. Join Twitter. You can watch out everyone flip out or freak out and flip their tables on how basically every decision. Latest one today about Epic Universe tickets. So go check that out. But
Twitter's wild, man.
Other than that, have a phantasmic night. Oh yeah, because it ain't no day. It's